Brett Okamoto from ESPN alongside Francis Ngannou, who fights Tyson Fury in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on October 28th. And Francis, thank you so much for giving us the time, letting us into your gym. And for me to even say that you're fighting Tyson Fury, I know that you've taken a long, long path to get here. Were you always confident that we'd be sitting here talking about this fight, or were there doubts along the way?
I don't know if it's like a doubt, but as many things in my life, it's just visualization, and then you get to manifest itself. You know, I tend to like focus on like my vision and like over and over, and don't really mind so many stuff around to distract me, because like doubt is stuff that basically make you go out of your way, and even if sometimes stuff doesn't happen, you just keep visualizing it, and then it doesn't happen. But I don't usually stop because there is a doubt. I go until like hit the wall, then I'm like, okay, there's a wall here. I don't step back and like, it might be a wall there, so I'm not moving forward.
What do you think makes you so special? Because you've overcame a lot of odds in your professional career and your personal life. Like a lot of people, I think, try hard at certain things and maybe it just doesn't work out for them. Like how are you able to make these things happen for yourself in your life?
Well, I don't think I'm special in that sense. I think maybe I'm stupid. When I think about something, I go after that thing. I don't care whatever is coming my way, what is along the way, what is the obstacle. I put all my focus on that thing and I move forward, which is stuff that for most people, most of the time, they want to think about it, if, or maybe this. And for the most part, they are afraid of like failing, which is not my case. You know, I get to the point that I accept that I can fail. I take it as part of my journey, as part of my experience, you know, and I know that even if I fail, I will learn from it. So at the end of the day, it's just the most important thing for me is to identify what I want, focus on it, and put everything back that decision that I take. Because I do believe that all the decisions are not the best decision and all the decisions are not the bad decision. In fact, there is not a good decision and there is not a bad decision. The decision is good or bad depending on the force that you put behind your decision. Sometimes you take the best decision ever and then you just let all this doubt stick in your mind, and then you give up because you have already thought of plan B, plan C, and all those stuff. You spend all your time going plan to plan because at the first obstacle, you're like, this wasn't the right decision, you know, like according to some kind of expert or would never done it. You believe in that. And sometimes you take a decision that looks like a bad decision, and then you back it. You put all your force behind that decision, and you believe in it, then you overcome everything along the way, and then you end up make your way through, and therefore, it's a good decision. So that's the way that I move.
When did this fight in your mind feel like it was like, oh man, this is real? Was it like right when you signed it, or was there some other moment where you're like, man, I'm gonna fight Tyson Fury on October 28th? When did that happen for you?
Oh no, he was when I signed, even before I signed it, when I had the first meeting, they flew me to New York. This was in June, and then I get in New York. I've been in Saudi already. I know some people. And then I get in New York. I'm like, you know, at first I was skeptical because he wasn't. I've had a call before. Then I get there. I'm like, okay, let's see. Then we get through those meetings. I met the right people. I know that this is happening. They are not here if it's a joke. It's happening.
Once that moment comes and you're like, this fight is real, does your mind just immediately switch to what? Like, what do you start thinking about when you're like, I'm gonna fight this guy? Like, what are some of the first things that start to go through your head when you know that it's real?
The first thing that's going to my head is how it was like the time, how long do I have? Like, How long do I have to be ready? I mean, if it was up to me, I would maybe you think like maybe you should need more time, and I'm like, no, more time for what, right? Like, you're not going to learn to equal to match a lifetime career over a couple months, right? It's just like taking the chance and move. And I'm like, okay, this is happening. I think I was more excited over everything because it's been something that I was looking at, and not many people believe in it, and at some point, I think people was trying to step on my way to make this fight not happen. So they can prove me wrong.
So when you made that acknowledgement of, I mean, what do I need more time for? Like you said, I can't fit in everything he's done in boxing in a small amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
So then what kind of conversation do you have with yourself of like, okay, well, how do I win this fight then? What do I need to do in order to win this fight?
Well, I think that's the easy stuff. I need to do everything that could be done. That's a very simple question. You don't usually, even in the fight that even in MMA fight that I used to go to fight, you don't go to a fight like, oh, I need to work on this and that. No, you need to work on everything. That's how it works. Otherwise, you might have a karma along the way. You don't cheat on combat sport. Yeah. No, you don't, because it's gonna catch you right in that octagon or on the ring.
Yeah. So you've put in a lot of work, obviously, for this fight. How has that work been? Because it's a unique situation. You are fighting a guy who is very, very experienced and skilled as a boxer. You have come in from another sport that includes boxing, but you're not a boxer yet. How has the work been? How has it been different from what you had been doing?
It's been pretty good. Overall, I've been enjoying it. I get to the point that the most complex thing was to put everything together. Now build a team according to a boxing match. Now have a training spot, a facility, sparring partner. Reorganize everything, because I was a little out of the combat business for over years, right? So I need to reorganize everything, and at first that was like the most stressful part, but I used to, so it was quick to move stuff around, like even having a gym, get everything done, but it's been pretty good, and I really enjoyed. I think it's something that I always enjoy. I grew up enjoying boxing. I grew up being a huge fan of boxing, wanted to become a boxer, so it's not something new, and now I'm there, but I feel like I have skipped a lot of steps in in my boxing career.
Yeah, I would say so.
Right? To get here, so you have to understand that this is the opportunity that all the boxers out there, even those who've been doing this for 20 years, they've been dreaming of. Yeah. And some guy just for somehow find a way to get in the front line. So
well,
I can't complain.
What you had accomplished is what earned you the way. It's not like you just walked in off the street.
Yes, I I agree with that, but still, because this is my first boxing match. Yeah. Whatever you can say, this is my first boxing match, and we are not fighting anyone. We are fighting the one.
Has it been pretty smooth, or were there times when you're like retraining yourself from being a UFC fighter and a mixed martial artist to a boxer, where you're like, this is awkward, this is weird, this doesn't feel right, I'm lacking confidence in it? Like, was it pretty smooth, or were there moments where you're like, man, this isn't going well?
No, it's been pretty smooth. Obviously, it's a little different, but I used to that. When I transited from boxing to MMA, I had that feeling. It was very weird because, you're there striking, and then you have to be ready for takedown, and then somebody's kicking you from the ground where you're not expecting it, or it just take you down and stuff like that. So that part was and it was my first time to be there. So that part was very strange. But now transiting to boxing, it's not that weird because I still have that, it's something that I have done before, even though I had to adjust my style to accommodate the MMA style, but it's still a little different, right? Because in MMA, you throw 1-2 punches and then kick, take down, and all those stuff. There's not a takedown. You get close to somebody, like you hold somebody for 3 seconds, break. It's different. It's just different. But even when I was training for MMA, I used to do some boxing sparring, so it's okay.
I've heard so many fighters say that you don't want to be thinking on fight night. Like, do you think that you'll be pretty comfortable in that respect, where you'll be out there and you'll be reacting and it'll feel natural, or like there'll be thoughts going through your head as you're fighting this guy?
Well, I think it'll be natural. I've been in the sport that I have to worry about, could I do this, But one thing that I know for sure is that when it's fight time, I can fight. I don't worry about that. So I just make sure I get myself in shape as much as possible, work on my reflex, work on my muscles memory, stuff like that. But when it's time to fight, I can fight.
There are so many, like you and I have had interviews before, and there's so many like great elements of like your life and your career. And the fact that you have Mike Tyson in the gym with you when he was the one who you kind of learned, right, what boxing was back in Cameroon off of a small iPhone, right? I mean, I saw in another interview you said that that's like a dream part, where like you can't believe like that's Mike Tyson over there, like in the ring with you.
It's been happening sometime, from I was at some point that everybody was like, no, it can't happen, this, it's not a boxer and everything, even though like your focus, you believe, there's a part of you that know that there's a chance for it not to happen. And then a month after, you are there in the gym training for this fight that is going to happen for sure. And then you have Mike Tyson here. Everything is real, right? Everything is real. So it's a great moment. That's a great moment. And then you think about like all the doubt, all the doubter, or all the hater. I'm like, oh man, I get you one more time.
Can you, what was like your earliest memory of Mike Tyson? Like, when do you think you became aware of who he was?
I know Mike Tyson by name since I was, I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 years old, or maybe before. I just know by the name, never even see a picture or a poster of it or a fight. In fact, I never watched Mike Tyson fight in life. I get to the point that I was able to go to, we call that a cyber shop, internet cyber cafe. So that's when I started go on YouTube and then tape Mike Tyson and watch Mike Tyson.
So you would just hear stories about him?
Yeah, I just know the name and then yeah.
What do you remember about when you finally were able to watch him on YouTube? What was that like?
It was cool. I was watching it, and at that moment, I have started boxing already. So it was very easy for me to understand a lot of things, and it was even more exciting because, like when you start boxing, those fundamental, raise your hand, move like this, lateral, vertical, forward, backward, and all these things, and then you start like that, and then you see all those professionals, they are fighting differently, hand down, that, and it doesn't look like those fundamentals that they teach you. And I'm like, okay, what happened between those professional and the amateur, you know. But you look somebody like Mike Tyson, he's just fighting fundamental. Hands up, move, everything just like the fundamental. And as a heavyweight, the way that he moves, his footwork and everything, it was fun to watch.
I talked to him yesterday, and I asked him, like, what do you think is the most important thing that you could give Francis going into this fight? And he said, stay calm. And I've heard Eric Nixick, your MMA coach, say that. You know, Dewey Cooper, Markel, Randy, like your whole team is like.
I think it was Usman.
Huh?
I think it was mostly Usman.
Usman?
Yes, Usman Kamaru.
Yeah, Kamaru.
That was his job to like
that's
remind me like.
Yes.
Calm down.
Yes. Kamaru was there specifically
like when
to
I first
tell you.
tipped the second time, that was like he was there to remind me to calm down. Yes. You know, not to get wired.
That is a theme for Francis Ngannou, the fighter. Like, it's just hard to keep you calm. Is that a challenge that you have on fight night?
No. Not in the fight night. I think I had that problem when I first tipped the first time, and I watched the tape after. I didn't recognize myself because I don't used to fight like that, you know. So that's why like going to the second fight again, the same guy, which is Tipe, it was very important to keep that in mind.
I feel like if there's going to be a fight where it's hard to be calm, though, and you've even said this, that you've been trying to visualize a lot so that it's not, that you'll be out of your element, that like mentally it'll just be a lot to deal with, like on fight night. What have your mental preparations, I guess, been like so that you're calm and you're ready to compete, you know, with everything that's going around and the circumstances?
Listen, I think at this point I'm just enjoying, you know, life, accomplishing my, seeing my dream become true one step after another, you know, like I'm just going there to fight. And as I said, I know that when it comes to fight, I can fight. I have the instinct. Fighting is more instinct than training. You can train as much as you want, but if you don't have that fighting instinct, you are not a fighter. I think like fighting is 70% of an instinct, you know. You could be the best technician ever, but if you go there and you don't have it, you can't do anything at all. It's not technique. So training just help you to keep in shape, and also like how to increase, add something on top of that, maybe 70%, which is like you being your instinct.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure it doesn't hurt that you just have a lot of power as well. Like, how much confidence does that give you knowing? Because there are some people that just do not have that. And I would say you have that. Even when you take people who have that natural punching power, you are still the 1% of the 1%. You know what I mean? So how much confidence is that giving you that I only got to land one punch on any given moment?
I mean, you have to also remember that he also has a downside, right? He has a downside. So it's like, okay, you're up here and then you get down here. At the end of the day, it's make it equal. But you have to be aware of that. If you are not aware of that, then you're not equal. You get even lower because you put your focus on one thing that can let you down, and therefore you have no option. While the other guy has multiple options. Now that your opponent know that, then what do you know about it? About him? What are you been preparing? He's been preparing for your power of something, like, or you're just going to go there, think about it, and put all your energy into punches, wanted to hit hard, and then burn out of energy. He has a lot of downsides, so I don't think about it in that way. You know, I just like, okay, how can I do without to not let it distract me?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny that you bring up the word distraction, because what do you make of just his I mean, he's come to the ring in a throne, you know, like a king's throne. Even at your guys' press conference, he stood up with the microphone and started walking around and basically giving a speech. You know, I think he's probably going to talk to you during the fight. What are you expecting out of him just in terms of distractions and just non-fight related things?
Well, He's very good at that. You know, even at the press conference, he was there like, "Oh, I'm a fat pig. Look at my stomach. Take your shirt off." I'm like, "I'm not taking my shirt off. I'm sure I have a better look than you, but I'm not taking my shirt off, right?" But I think, yeah, he's pretty good at distracting people because when you look at him, he really doesn't look like the guy, you know. But I have seen him. I have been ringside watching him, and I'm like, man, there's not. How can this be possible? But you're watching it. The guy just like that, not the best looking, not the most athletic guy, but the way that he moves, he's good, so impressive, right? But so sometimes you might let his body fool you, or what he's saying, or being out of shape. I don't buy into that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Do you think that anything that he says, or even what you're saying, is that like he's kind of able to lull people into thinking he's not dangerous? Like it's going to make you want to press. You know what I mean? Like go after him in maybe a moment you shouldn't. Like have you thought about any sort of like the mind games? I guess that.
Oh no, definitely mind game. I know he's playing he must be playing a mind game by, as I said earlier, like he would be like, "Oh, look at me, look at my stomach, I'm a fat pig." I'm like, "No, you're not. You're not the number one boxer." That's what I say, and that's who I'm gonna be focused on. I'm not going to focus on the fat pig.
Is there any way that this could be a loss for you? I mean, even if you go there, is there any kind of outcome? Is there anything that could happen on the night of the fight? And the reason I'm asking that is because, like, I know how long you've waited for this. I know the risks that you took, you know, from a contract standpoint, you know, the stand that you had to make to get out of your contract, everything else that comes along with it. Like, this was never a guarantee. So regardless of what happens on the fight, like, will it be a win? Or is there a way that you could lose this, you feel like?
There's always a win and there's always loss. You know, I do believe that I'm gonna gain a lot out of this fight, experience-wise, no matter what happened that night, right? But my goal is not only to win, but to also go out there and prove people that I can box, you know? So if I don't do that, then that's a loss.
If and when you knock out Tyson Fury, how do you think the world will react to that?
I don't know. I don't even know how I will react, so I can't know how the world will react. I don't know how such a thing would look like, but I'll find out that night.
We talked a lot about training for a boxing fight, Tyson Fury and all that. There's a lot of money attached to what you're about to do as well. What does the money mean to you, I suppose? Coming from where you come from, and then just really any human being about ready to change their life financially like that, what does it mean to you?
It means a lot. Money means, money means a lot. Basically, like, see where I came from, see the situation that I have been to, and how I can now easily, like, manage my financial situation, you know, and even just like to get the right environment, what I need is very important. So that's a lot. My only thing is that it's not money at any cost, you know. It's not like at all price. Yes, it's very important to get paid for what you're doing. Doesn't matter what you're doing, to have the best outcome out of it as a human being. But and then that's also like state you at the point that you realize that you're doing good. What you're doing is important, and then he also like encourage you, helps you to do better. You know, like it was just easy to me to decide to have a private gym to train, you know, in my environment and everything the way that I want, without have to squeeze in maybe in the gym and wait for a class to be over and this and that, you know. You make things very easy.
Do you have any, I mean, because you've already done the school in Cameroon, do you have any plans in terms of just like something that's not for yourself for that money?
Not for that money. I always have a plan. You know, that's not going to be the only money in my life. You know, I appreciate everything that I have. I always appreciate everything that I have. Always look for more, for better, you know. So I can make it. I also make a plan of like for the future of when things go well. Yes, I have a plan. I've been expanding even my foundation. I have some stuff that I do in my community. Now I run the soccer team of my village, which is a community team, you know, also because it's a passion. It's something like growing up, like when this team was winning the cup, the national cup, like it was a holiday in the village, you know, like stuff like that. And then I get to the point that the team went down because nobody was really supporting it financially. And then I get to the point that, you know, I was like basically like one of the only athletes, high athletes of the village, and I felt like I was a little obligated to, you know, bring that up or maybe give that back, or trying to give other kids the feeling that we had when we were a kid and living that and seeing that team play and win and all those stuff. Because back then some people was putting money in the club, you know, so stuff like that. Do it time to time. No, always, no, but I do it sometimes.
One of the last things I have for you is you beat Tyson Fury. I just don't know, it's hard for me to even envision any way you would top that, you know? You be a UFC champion, you beat the greatest heavyweight of all time in Stipe Miocic, and then you go and beat the greatest heavyweight boxer of your era in Tyson Fury. Like, what would there be left after this fight?
There's always something left. Every time you feel like every obstacle or every challenge in front of you is the biggest one, or like every accomplishment is the biggest one, until you go out there and figure out that there's always something left, you know. At the end of the day, my goal is just to do my best possible, you know. Not set a limit for myself, no, believe that there's always a way to go higher, and then do everything in that purpose.
Well, it's been fun for me to cover your career, man, and this chapter of it's going to be very fun as well. Congratulations again in the fight, and we're going to see you very soon in the ring.
Appreciate you. See you in Riyadh.
See you in Riyadh. I will be there. Yeah.
Okay. See you in Riyadh.